Oh, hell yeah. Let me adjust this.
No problem. All right, welcome to another episode of the Sunday Punch podcast. We're here with a new guest. Hit us up through the social media channels. His name's Paul. I won't say your last name yet, but it's a great last name. A lot of football lineage. So, um, dude, we have a lot to talk about today. A lot of breaking news that just happened, and I might have to throw you on a little loop here because I want to talk about before we get into the Bengals, before we get into the San Fran game and what went wrong there. I want to talk about Flores and then also the Washington football team just announced actually accidentally of course accidentally announced their name. So let's play the intro song here and then we'll get into the subject matter at hand.
Friday night, I'm thinking that we just might fly away to someplace they don't know who we are. Now I'm riding shotgun in your car. We drive through the city like explorers going 65. Flowing hair flying across your face. We left on Friday, now it's Saturday. Pressed jeans buttoned up, jeans iron slipping up. Red shoes walking slow, headphones blaring 3 stacks. Sunglasses flaring out, thick watch hanging low. Studded belt pulled taut, 3 stacks on the radio. Friday night, I'm thinking that we just might run away to some place we can be who we are. We can be who we are.
Okay, let's get into stuff here. Okay, Paul, have you been on Twitter
I
today?
got your list.
Have you seen I'm going off the list immediately. Have you seen the
Yeah, what's up with Washington? I heard about Flores, but the
let's start
Washington, they're a
let's
mess. They're a dumpster fire, and of course some intern released it, or like you said, it was it's on purpose.
So what happened there, because this will be a quick subject that we can cover. So in their stadium, they have like the sign reveal. And so like a helicopter was flying over and they just zoomed in. So what we're going with here is the Washington Commanders.
No,
Initial thoughts.
it's got to be a joke.
No, Washington Commanders.
They had one of the coolest names in football, the Washington football team.
Right. And
That's a
that was one
solid
of
name.
the options.
That was a solid to the Commanders.
Well,
That sounds like my kid just started travel baseball yesterday practice. That's like one of the teams I guarantee he'll play. He's the Blaze. He'll play the Commanders, and Dan Snyder probably owns that too. What a fucking can we swear?
you
on
can
your
curse.
pod?
Yeah, sure.
I'll try not to, but yeah. So anyway, but that's a mess. The Commanders is a terrible name. The fact that they didn't expect, if the information is out, that no one would maybe try and get a shot of it. I doubt the helicopter did it just for that. No one cares enough to rent a helicopter, waste gas to find out that stupid name.
No, it's pretty obvious from the aerial view. Another okay, so you would have kept the football team. Another option I was rooting for was the Red Hogs.
Well, their faithful would love it. Are they still doing that? Because those people had to be dead. The original ones.
Yeah, for the offensive line where they used to wear the pig noses.
Right. Someone had great seats. In all those NFL films, you saw like the same 4 guys, and they didn't look too healthy. And that was probably 30 years ago. Those 20 years ago, those clips.
Yeah, they're all dead.
Yeah,
they died years ago.
Yeah, someone maybe is still putting the snout on, and no, but they were wearing women's dresses. Was the whole thing, right? They
well,
had
the thing,
hog,
Paul, they were drinking a lot at the time.
Oh, you see, matter of fact, that could explain a lot. Maybe but that doesn't explain the Raiders. They're just degenerates with those. I'm talking about like the guys with the shoulder pads and the black. and white makeup and all that stuff. That's just crazy.
Well, I have a theory on that. It's just like you have to be a complete insane person if you're dressing up as a grown man to go to a football game. And actually, they are insane because I went to
Yeah.
the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and they have a little video clip at the Pro Football Hall of Fame of they forced like the Hall of Famers to go visit like the number one fan in
Oh,
each
some
like town.
degenerate,
Yeah.
some he's scratching lottery tickets off as they pull up. Oh my
So they had
God.
Dan Marino go to this like random guy's house who is just like
Oh, Dan probably bought
obsessed.
coke from that guy before. You know, he's getting nervous. He's like, shit, we found Dwight.
but yeah, that guy had like he would like paint his face, have like a dolphin on his head, which actually is a good segue here. Let's get to the Flores news.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you see the text message that Bill Belichick sent to Flores?
No, from what I heard, which was paraphrased, he had meant to send something to Brian, the other one who had won a head coach position before he should have, because Flores was like, yo, I didn't even interview for that yet. So that's what it sounds like.
Let's go through the actual text. Okay. He says, sounds like you've landed. Congrats. And then Flores says, did you hear something I didn't hear? And he says, Giants, question mark, exclamation point. And Flores says, I interview on Thursday. I think I have a shot at it. And then Belichick says, got it. I hear from Buffalo and New York that you're their guy. Hope it works out if you want it too. That's definitely what I want. I hope you're right, coach. Thank you. And then he has this realization. He says, coach, are you talking to Brian Flores or Brian Dabble? Just making sure. And then Bill Belichick says, sorry, I fucked this up. I double checked and I misread the text. I think they are naming Dabble. I'm sorry about that. That was before the interview with Flores. So that means that they never actually considered Flores.
Which the Rooney rule.
Right.
Is what that seems alone. That seems like his lawyer would be like, we can't go in with the Rooney rule in this case because that's like one. So he might have, because if you remember when he left Miami, one of the things like that I first heard was communication. And then some of the analysts broke it down like, well, there's a lot more to being a head coach than just the X's and O's. These guys coming out of Belichick's camp are used to winning under that certain and coaching under that certain strict regimen. And when you're winning, that's fine. But when you're not winning, people don't buy into it. And I think the general manager, there was friction. So who knows if maybe he felt like he was getting the old whitewash treatment down in Miami, and he's got receipts. Because you can't just go in there like, oh, I got a text from Bill. You know, that's just too thin to just essentially blacklist. He just Kaepernicked himself.
Right.
So he's got his settlement must be, because it's on, when I saw they didn't have it, the figures, but I mean, he can't be that well off just being that young.
I was texting my boss and I was saying, he must have some money saved up because that's like chapter one in like Art of War. It's like, don't bite the hand that feeds you. Although you got to admit, that's kind of fucked up that they never had an intention of hiring him, right? And I thought he was one of the hottest coaches on the market. I wanted the Bears to hire him immediately.
Yeah, but it can't be just Bill, because what if Bill was wrong? What if he just heard from one of his buddies that, we're leaning towards this guy, but after a Flores interview, they may have changed their mind, because that's what the Giants are going to say. They're going to say, well, yeah, we really like this other Brian Daboll, but after we saw Brian Flores, we had more to consider. So I don't see how it doesn't make any sense. Like for him to just be like, you know what, matter of fact, let's just do this.
Right.
I mean, Al Davis is the last one to go to the war with the NFL. And he won, but he's Al Davis. He's a billionaire, and he's a pirate. He was willing to go.
Flores is in the same suit saying that Stephen Ross, the owner of the Dolphins, offered to pay him $100,000 for every loss during the 2019 season to help the team get a better draft spot.
So he's got some of those receipts.
Was mad when they kept winning.
It was strange when he got fired. I mean, I was like, "What? He was good. I thought everyone liked him and stuff." And then they're like, "Well, there's more to it than just coaching." Like, Yeah, but winning, I think he doesn't like Tua. And there was
Right.
something with Flores liked Watson a lot, you know. So that would mean that maybe Tua was not his guy, and that could maybe one of the big friction points, you know, from management down to the coaching staff. And then if he's not the best communicator, if he's not going to be that people person, and they even said same thing with what's his name? He went to Denver, and now he's got a job in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
Josh,
McDaniels.
yeah, you know, it's like he was 33. He wasn't ready for that. There's more to it, you know. Same with that dude who went to Detroit. He always got the pencil in his ear like a fucking
Yeah,
douche.
Patricia.
I mean, give me a break. He's probably a cool guy or whatever, but it's just like I didn't buy into him at all. I'm like, oh, that's not gonna work. Not even a little bit. Now they've got a coach, Dan Campbell, finally, but you could just tell someone right away they're just not ready, you know, to lead men and deal with everything. Everyone's got their own stuff. They've got their own issues, and so maybe Flores wasn't really connecting even with the players. Like if Tua was sticking around and he was kind of, they sat Tua down, how do you feel about, Coach, and body language. He may not throw him under the bus, but there's a lot more to it than we know. But yeah, I was just as shocked as you, man.
All right, well, let's get into, because I wanted Flores to be the Bears head coach, right? So that obviously that didn't happen. What are your thoughts on yeah? Can we back out after the Matt press conference this morning? I'm having second thoughts about because I liked him. I watched Hard Knocks with the Colts, the in-season Hard Knocks.
Well, he had those boys playing.
I liked him. Yeah,
I
liked
those boys
but
playing defense, man.
So,
I don't know.
What are your thoughts? Do you think it's kind of just like a blah hire?
Well, it seems like a typical Bear. I mean, can you name a good besides Roquan? Can you name any good decision and hopefully Fields? But it's been a mess. So it's par for the course in terms of that. But I think if they because they were talking about some good offensive guys to bring in around, because otherwise it's like, what are you doing bringing in a defensive guy, which helps because we have done well when we have, but still, right now we've got this for the first time in maybe ever a golden nugget sitting there, and he's like, all right, so who's helping me? Who's going to get me going? Because this was a nightmare. Whatever this shit was a nightmare, and now you're bringing in a guy. He's never had, he's never been a head coach. He's a defensive guy, so I don't know if his first priority is going to be Justin Fields. So I hope they help him out with somebody coming in.
Yeah, what do you think of them hiring two guys named Matt and Ryan again?
Well,
they're obsessed with this name combo.
That could be just what Mama McCaskey's doing. I mean, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me. I remember when they dropped Thomas Jones or they traded him or something. I'm like, what, TJ? His bicep covered the whole football. I'm like, no, we had 2 more years of him. Finally we've got some runners. Right. We've got a guy who could throw the ball and run a little bit. He's just he's got to get it going between the ears, but it's not going to help when you've got that mess going on that Nagy was calling out there, that Pee Wee football garbage he was calling. So I'm hoping good things for what's his Eberflus or whatever.
Yeah, me too. And I saw him in that Hard Knocks, and I liked him when he was interacting with the players. Not a great first press conference, but I always root for the guys, so I'm going to give him we'll see what he does on the football field. It's all about decisions and getting the play. Well, another great thing I like about him is he's not going to be calling the plays. See, Nagy with the play calling, I don't like. I'm not a big fan of head coach. Another gimmick guy. You're talking about Patricia with the pencil. Nagy with the visor on.
No,
and
I never bought into Nagy either. Yeah,
calling the plays, not getting the plays in on time. So I wanted a guy who's just focused on the head coaching duties, time management,
defense,
leading
too,
men, defense. But
like a Belichick.
he's gonna have exactly. So they can get an offensive, coordinator.
Like a overall, you have to have that person who just kind of just like walks around and just runs but then he's got people who handle the day to day and handle the nitty gritty, and Bill can kind of play chess, and then he likes his defense,
Right.
That'd be
Well,
a nice formula.
So getting into the gimmick plays, this is a perfect segue into that Kansas City Bengals game. So I think the entire game, and this is not a hot take or anything, it changed when they were up 21-10 at the goal line, and they do a gimmick, reminded me exactly of a Matt Nagy goal line play call. They call that kind of gimmicky Tyreek Hill bubble screen. He doesn't get in, and it's like you could have done three things, right?
Yeah.
Kick the field goal.
Yeah.
And then you get the ball back, and then let's say you get a field goal again. That's 6 points, right? You've won the game at that point. Or you say, I'm gonna throw a fade up to Kelsey. That's a good play.
It was working all night to Kelsey.
Or you just say, you know what? We're going for it. We're going for the touchdown. We're not going for the field goal, and run something in the end zone. But what you can't do is run some random Matt Nagy bubble screen from Andy Reid's coaching tree. And then that changed the whole game. That changed the whole game.
Well,
I bet the under, so I loved it. But still,
yeah,
I had
the
entire game.
7.5.
Oh, you did? You had KC?
No, I took Cincinnati 7.5.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, I was nervous about that. But
first quarter, I checked the live odds, 18 points. You could have got 18 because it was looking
Really?
crazy. Oh, yeah, you could have got 18 points because Cincinnati, Kansas City would run like 3 times and get yardage, and then but by the time Cincinnati would try to adjust and be like, okay, we're getting hit in the mouth, they would just dump it to Kelsey, and he would slam some guy. And then they would do that, and it just looked bad. It was like there's no answer. And I'm thinking, oh, there goes my bet. And then it just, like the momentum shifted. And then I remember on that play where Cincinnati got 2 points, there's a 2-point conversion. That whole drive, the Chiefs defense looked confused. They were just like looking at each other, and then especially on that end zone play, of course, you see that a lot when there's like the blame game, but this was just blown. Like something was going on with the Chiefs, and Andy Reid, God bless him, man. I'm glad he won something, but he's waddling around. He's about one chocolate cake from that big chocolate cake in the sky, man. He's not. I mean, he's really waddling around there. Like, he's really full-blown Wall-E, like Wall-E, that movie, where they're in the chair and the chair is moving them around. Man, he's not looking good. I mean, he's had a tough, decade or whatever with his son and all that stuff. But, he's winning games. But I don't know what that was. Honestly, Mahomes had 146 or some high passer rating first half.
Right.
He goose-egged the second half.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. And this is what was happening with Chiefs week 1 through 8. The Chiefs were wanting to win how they wanted to win instead of just taking what the defense was giving you. First half, they were doing the checkdowns. They were running Tyreek on the wide receiver, kind of curling across the field because he can't catch him, right? He's too fast.
Right.
And then in the second half, it seemed like they were like, no, we want to win our way. We want to win with the big play. And they went completely away. I think they were completely rattled after the missed before half play. Then they were thinking, wait, the Bengals have done this to us, 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. And they were trying to win how they wanted to win instead of just winning
that same garbage stuff, right?
Right.
They played the first beginning where Mahomes is trying too hard, and they've got no team. There's no balance going on. They're not playing together. It's just like I don't know what it is though. Like, how can you snap in and out of good football, bad football like that when it's not like the Bears, who can snap into good football randomly. I mean, that year that Cutler hurt his pinky on that interception when he was trying to make a tackle and we were having to run. Even that year, I was never like, we're good, like I was never like, we're a really, really good team. It was like, okay, we're winning, like we're squeaking into this. We're getting into this, and especially when we had Rex in the Super Bowl. It's like, even when we win, I'm never like, we got this. Like, it's like the defense always had to score. Devin had to run one back. And the defense also had to hold them to like 3 to 7 points. And if they held them to one touchdown, we might win, and like that's tough for anybody,
Yeah, I mean, we're never going to, the Bears are never going to have a Patrick Mahomes, dude. So you might as well just give that up.
Yeah.
Jay Cutler was the closest. But hey, here's a question. Mahomes,
Mm-hmm.
is he the next Aaron Rodgers? And what I mean by that is he the next guy that's so obvious that he's going to go to Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super Bowl? But let's look back at it here. Now he's lost to Tom Brady. He didn't make it the one year. He hasn't made it this year. And Tyreek, how many Tyreek years does he have left of being just completely dominant, small wide receiver? Who knows? Does Mahomes just become this great quarterback that now we're like, oh, he's not going to make the Super Bowl that much anymore?
Well, I'll tell you the one person that I can maybe compare him to, and it's a stretch, but you think body type in terms of just the physical ability to throw the ball, to run the ball. I mean, Cam couldn't ever throw quite like Mahomes could, but his first 2 years.
I don't want to slander Patrick like that, dude.
No, but his first 2 years when he was an MVP, he was looking like, oh, who's gonna stop this guy?
Right.
He's like 625, 6,000 pounds when he's running. He was like a superhero. He was really just like, he made everyone look small. And he was playing quarterback, and he was fast, and he could throw enough to win MVP, and to have to string together a few good years. And then that shoulder injury, he flipped his forward. It was weird. He had a weird couple years, and he never came back. But it was
That's true. I did at that point in time. I did think Cam Newton was going to go to multiple Super Bowls.
That's what I'm saying. There was 2 years where you were like, oh, what? This is a prototype. This is a new kind of thing. And now I'm saying he's tough to compare to because of their throwing ability. But at the time, we had never seen an athlete like Mahomes. It's been a progression. It's like no one could break the 4-minute mile until they could. And then that year, 4 people broke it because it's humans, so now they've seen but it's been a progression of athletic quarterbacks who can do a lot of this, from the old school guys, man. I mean, there were some old school guys, and it's all the shorter guys. They were shorter and playing quarterback because they had something else going for them.
Right.
That's why Baker Mayfield kind of blows chunks because he's just short and he's not that super athletic guy. He's like a whatever. He's kind of just like a whatever quarterback, and he's.
This is a question I asked on a cast before. And let's get back to Patrick Mahomes right after this question.
Yeah.
But is Baker Mayfield the worst quarterback to have the most commercials?
Oh yeah, because our RG3 was again a world beater.
Oh yeah, I forgot RG3 had a bunch of commercials.
Yeah, but it wasn't this bad. He had a bunch of sports ones. He's not charismatic to be doing all these funny Hulu ones and stuff, but and Baker is just not. He's like Johnny Manziel, man. They just can't get out of that prototype of I don't know what their prototype is, decent mid-sized white guy.
I think it was good. I think you described it correctly. He's just whatever.
Yeah,
that's what you think when you see him. All right, now for Patrick Mahomes, to your point there, though, I think it's the opposite with. How people they completed the 4-minute mile, then a bunch of people did the 4-minute mile. I think people have seen how you beat Patrick Mahomes,
Yeah.
and now a bunch of people are beating Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, there must be a formula because I think it was like Las Vegas figured it out a while ago, or somebody. Like it was just like
and then
this.
they rode the buses around, and he's never let them forget about it.
Yeah,
ever
but I'm
since.
telling you, if they had just stuck to their formula, which was basically like run, and if you have some success running, and you have to do it to get some success sometimes, but in this game they had it early, and then dump it off to Kelsey, and then you always have to guard Tyreek, whether he's getting the ball or not. So that was leaving like McCole Hardman and those cats open for touchdowns and stuff. Like that's the formula. If you have any kind of running game and then you have your tight end involved in some manner, you always have to have someone accounting for Tyreek. So now you've got like a large part of their defense tied up, and rightly so. And you could still be getting chunk plays even though that's being defended. And then you have those chances to use these Byron Pringles and stuff,
Well, actually, in the second half, the Bengals are dropping 8 into coverage, so they really should have been running it. But again, that goes back to my point. They wanted to win how they wanted to win.
Yeah.
Whereas
something changed totally by that second
Patrick's
game plan.
slinging it around. All right, we've shit enough on the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Let's give the
not
Bengals
enough on his brother and fiance. I'm just kidding.
Well, I am gonna miss the Jackson Mahomes TikTok dances.
Often, baby, I can let the often. Ask me if I do this every day. I say often.
Pulling out the coupe at the lot, told him fuck 12, fuck SWAT, busting all the bells out the box. I just hit a lick with the box, had to put the stick in the box. Pour up the whole damn seal, I'ma get laid.
Twerk, girl, I wanna see you twerk. I throw a little money to twerk. I don't really think you can twerk. If you broke, go to
nonsense.
Yeah, what did you think of that?
That's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense.
You know what the funny thing is? Like Patrick Mahomes is like if before you even knew about Jackson Mahomes and his wife, you actually liked Patrick Mahomes. Now I feel like people are actively rooting against him because of the people around him.
Yeah, man, he's odd. Like, his voice is a little odd for, the way he runs is a little odd. That's what's going to get him, man, because I'm telling you, I'm not saying like I predicted 6 cents before the movie ended, but like when I saw Dak Prescott the game before he got hurt, and then especially that game, I'm like, dude, this guy's too big to be making these 45-degree angle cuts. Like, he would do it all the time. He would just dip out and then make this extreme cut. And I'm like, man, because he's not built like proportionate for his height, he's not
right.
He's too tall and too thick up top to be that thick below, especially in those sensitive parts where things can bend the way they shouldn't bend when you've got
we saw it on that QB sneak, when his knee popped out of place.
Yeah, they've
never
torque,
QB
man.
sneaked it after that. By the way, after that play, they've never. Fun fact: Casey has never
really?
QB sneaked it after that play.
Yeah, those guys are built like basketball players. You can't be torquing your limbs like that,
No. All right, we shit on the Chiefs enough.
Yep.
They had a million chances. They messed it up.
Yep.
I'm utterly shocked.
They blew it.
Utterly,
they blew
utterly
it.
shocked. One more thing. Was that the biggest choke in an AFC championship you've seen in your life? I know I'm being very specific. I'm being very specific.
Oh, yeah. In an AFC championship that I can recall right now, that had to be, because the way that they were rolling, it seemed like they could have stopped playing offense and the game was over after that first quarter anyway. I mean, that's why I'm telling you, the live odds were 18 points from 7 to 7.5 kind of this week to 18 if you would have grabbed those live odds. So it had to be to memory. The worst.
All right, let's give Joe Burrow his flowers here.
Joe Cool.
Joe Cool. A lot of nicknames this guy's got.
Yeah.
I like Joe Burr.
Joe
just
Burr.
BRRR because he's so icy and cool. Joe Burrow. Here's a question I got for you, Paul.
Yeah.
Little trivia, little NFL trivia. Joe Burrow is the 8th quarterback to go to the Super Bowl in his first 3 years. Actually, let's do it this way. 7th QB. No, let's do it the other way because I want to include Patrick Mahomes. And I just gave one away. Eighth QB to go to the Super Bowl in first 3 years.
First
Who were
3
the
years.
others? Patrick
So,
Mahomes, Joe Burrow. Okay.
Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Ben Roethlisberger,
Yes.
Tom Brady.
Yes. You have 4 more.
Man.
Hustle
Does it
bustle.
go back? Does it go back?
Oh, it goes back.
Yeah.
It goes a little bit back, but actually you know all of these people. For sure know all
For
these
sure
people.
know all these people.
Think about some recent history because you'll get the next one too. Think about some recent Super Bowl history here. Past 7 years.
They just went to the Super Bowl. They didn't win it necessarily.
Yeah, they just went.
Man, I don't want to have too much dead time on the
I'll give you
air.
I'll give you a hint on one. Hustle bustle. Russell.
Oh,
Wilson.
yeah. Man, you almost forget about that because it was the Legion of Boom. But yeah, that was within his second year, third year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go with the other obvious one. There's 2 you might not ever get, but the other obvious one here is Dan Marino.
He never went to a Super Bowl.
He went to a Super
never
Bowl.
won one.
Yeah. He went.
I was gonna say him. He never won one, but like as soon as I thought Dan Marino, I'm like, oh no Super Bowl. But yeah, I forgot he did. But his team was stacked.
Yeah, it's true.
He walked into a stud.
I'm gonna give you a hint on the next one. Blackout.
Up in San Fran.
Yeah.
Kaepernick.
Yeah. Kaepernick went.
He went to a bowl. I know he took him to the playoffs. I forgot.
No, he played the Ravens, and that was when they had the blackout.
And then Lamar Jackson. No, that was Joe Flacco.
That was the Joe Flacco.
That was Joe Flacco.
Colin Kaepernick went and lost to Joe Flacco.
Yeah, I was gonna say him too, but I'm like, I know he went to a playoff game. I can't remember. Yeah, he went to a Super Bowl. Now he can't even get a job. Wow.
Yeah, him and Brian Flores. And then the last one I'll give you one hint. Used to work at a grocery store.
Oh, Kurt Warner.
Yes.
I forget because he was old when I'm thinking young kids. I'm like, well, what other 23 or 4-year-olds going to the Super Bowl, 25,
right, No, he came in older and went immediately.
He came in there, hairy arms, just fucking ready to go, man. Like, he's got the turtleneck, just slinging rocks up to, so that was not with the Cardinals. You're talking about with the Rams, right?
Yeah, greatest show on turf.
Yeah, man. He had another stacked team.
So that's it. Let's go. Joe Burrow, Dan Marino, Tom Brady, Russell Wilsonio, Colin Kaepernick, Big Ben, and Kurt Warner. Another fun fact here. Yeah, you know what the Bengals' odds were to go to the Super Bowl?
Coming
Start
into
of the season?
Oh no, what?
75-1. That was equal with the New York Jets.
Well, that's the thing about preseason. Everyone, because they just spent money, everyone's just so they all have a big game to talk. So it has to be tough for the analysts because you're looking at talent, raw talent, So
Right.
It's like, yeah, they did upgrade, but for some reason, some teams can't get it figured out. In the Jets' case, they had an Adam Gase problem. And then I don't know what before that.
I like how Brian Flores can't get a job, but Adam Gase for a stretch of time
was
like the hot prospect. You got to get Adam Gase in the building.
You can't hire anyone off the Belichick tree. It's no good.
Well, I believe in Flores. I mean, the Dolphins have an insane owner. They didn't have a quarterback. Their team wasn't that talented, and yet they were winning football games.
Yeah, the fact that he was winning was like, wait, so why is he fired again? That's just weird.
Well, the owner's insane. But over-under wins for the Bengals at the beginning of the year. Give me your over-under.
For what I thought it would be? Or what
No. For what it was for Vegas, beginning of the year, the Bengals over-under wins.
They would have given them 3 games, 4 games.
Oh no,
tops.
they didn't hate him that bad. 7.
They gave him 7.
Yeah.
Well, out of 7,
you bet that over.
I forget
the
season's longer. Yeah, I would have. Yeah.
And Zach Taylor was one of the most likely coaches to be fired.
Yeah, he turned that around, didn't he?
Yeah. So you know what? I'm done doubting the Bengals. I've bet against them in every single game in the playoffs.
Did you really?
Well, I had them winning versus. I actually had the money line, but I took the spread for the Raiders. So, and then I had Tennessee. I'm still utterly shocked. I mean, if you rewatch that game, Tennessee is clearly the better team. And again, another complete choke job by a quarterback, Tannehill, who God knows where he's going to be. He might not even be in Tennessee next year.
No, he might not be, but he's done that, man. Same reason why they bounced him before. Not the same reason why they bounced him before, but it's the same with like Andy Dalton and some of these guys. Like, if you think about it, what separates the starters from the fact that all those starters have a backup that's better than like every other football player, every other quarterback in the world? You know, the backup to every starter is like the 33rd through whatever 60
right.
Eighth quarterback, and they're just sitting on the bench. What separates them from the starter? It has to be the mental. It has to, because it's not just all, it has to be just that little tiny neuron that fires a little bit faster, and the IQ, the decision making. And for some reason, like those guys under pressure on big games when the lights are bright, they can't get it all together. Carson Wentz,
Right.
It was Nick Foles. Carson Wentz he helped them out, to get all those accolades and get all that money. But when it came to the big stuff, Nick Foles was like, and he's not as talented, not as raw. Like, you wouldn't look at him and be like, oh, wow. But it's like, yeah, but if you have it all together, it doesn't matter if you could sling it 86 or whatever. If you could throw 84 and it's accurate, and it's to the right person, that's way better than in the dirt. So,
yeah. Speaking of Andy Dalton, this one's got to hurt.
Oh, why? What is he gone?
No, just because he was on the Bengals for so long and could never get him there.
Can you imagine? Well,
AJ Green.
Yeah, but they had different coach. They had Marvin Lewis.
Right, that's true.
But anyway, still, like, you're absolutely right. It's just like they could get far. Even with Carson, what's his name? Was it Carson? The other redhead they had.
Carson Palmer.
Yeah. I mean, before he went to Arizona, they had success, but could just never seal the deal, And it's got to be the same thing for quarterbacks and for players as it is for coaching, and for the franchises altogether. It's like you have to have that winning, like they said about Tampa Bay when I know that's one more thing you wanted to talk about too, was the quarterback where Jimmy G would go. Right. I think Tampa Bay, but I think he'll probably end up somewhere like the New York Giants, unless they want to give another chance, because the owner said like they didn't give that young man any chance or whatever. So maybe he's feeling it for him.
I wouldn't. Jimmy G's got to work with San Fran, and there's absolutely no way he's going to agree to a Giants trade. But he would go to Pittsburgh, though. I think he'd.
I can see that. Yeah, because they don't like what's his name, Mason, or what's his name?
Yeah, Mason Rudolph. They don't have another quarterback. It's over.
No, they've got no. I mean, they're going to obviously draft somebody.
Maybe.
I don't
know
who's got to grab.
Who's in the draft this year? No,
it doesn't matter. You got to grab some. I don't know. College is one thing I could never really sink my teeth into.
Yeah.
I try to dabble, but like this year, I don't see anybody. So you just grab somebody and hope, and you're gonna have to. I mean, Deshaun Watson might come up here. Russell Wilson's obviously not happy. Aaron Rodgers.
Right. All right. Well, let's save the QB shuffle until after the San Fran versus Rams reaction here. So, immediately again, I thought San Fran was going to win this game.
Really?
Wrong again.
I hoped they would. I had some money on them winning the Super Bowl at like 2 weeks ago. I'm like, I'll put like $5 on it, and he would have won like 50.
Yeah, I mean, they had it all working, but then they have Jimmy G, and I still like Jimmy G, but what are you gonna do?
Another example, just has all of the tangibles, but
right.
The one intangible. I mean, maybe that test could help predicted, the one that Peyton Manning like beat, whatever test that I
The
can't think of it.
Wonderlick.
The Wonderlick, right? Yeah, I mean maybe Jimmy G's Wonderlick is high, and I'm talking out of my ass, but it doesn't matter. It's like taking a test like this is different than applying it, when the lights are bright and a 365-pound man's huffing and puffing, coming 25 miles an hour at you, with bad intentions. So those are the guys that, like, for hate or love him, Matt Ryan could do it. It's just now he's just, I don't know what's wrong with him, but he had
old.
it. Yeah. Maybe him, the physicals aren't there. And I think for him, it's desire too. He's not really, he would pull them to some victories, but he knows
he
what's
was
going
never
on.
he was never mentally the same after that, the biggest choke of all time, which was in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, that's why when you said AFC Championship, I'm like, only other thing if it was a Super Bowl would be the Falcons.
Well, after reflection, I'm glad that the Rams made it. I like the Stafford backstory.
Yeah, man, he needed something like this. Even
Stafford's
if he doesn't
like one of
win
those. Stafford has like completed the task of being a quarterback that you didn't know whether he was good or bad for 10 years.
Yeah, he's leveled up, and he's essentially really helped his case for being a Hall of Famer, I don't know about
He's got the
he
numbers.
is or
No,
not.
he's got the numbers.
Yeah,
he's got the
but
numbers.
This would definitely help being there at the Super Bowl, and if he can win, the Rams sure could win, so that would definitely sort of seal it, I think, if he had a ring.
Right.
But
And
yeah.
I like Aaron Donald. I would like to see him win.
Yeah, Von Miller, he's already got one, Aaron Donald seems like a nice guy though, but who knows? He's quiet. He could be a dick,
And then, is Cooper Kupp the best receiver in the league now?
This year he's got it together, but you know what? And I don't mean to bring color into it because it's just what pops into mind. But like Danny Amendola had years like that. Who was that real short guy in New England?
Wes Welker.
Even shorter. He had like a bull haircut. Not Woodhead.
No. He never had a year like Cooper Kupp. Wes Welker had like 100 catches.
Wes Welker had good ones. Amendola had a decent, but what's the other one he likes? The skateboarder that's still there. Julian Edelman had some of those years.
Oh, Edelman, yes. Edelman had
where,
a lot of
it was just like those years where it's like they were unstoppable. But Cooper is also a lot bigger. He's not a huge guy, but he's bigger than Welker and those guys. So he can play a little more aggressive and, take those hits and run some routes that I don't think those other guys can run as much. Edelman's kind of a dog, but I mean, Kupp is playing out of his mind, man. I mean, he's catching everything. He's like a vacuum, and no one can guard him because he's got the 1 or 2 step that'll shake you because, again, it's all mental. He has to decide on the step and then execute it. So you have to have both factors, but he's firing on all cylinders. And the only reason I brought up those other guys is like to sustain this level of production is impossible. Impossible. Like you said about Mahomes, people are going to watch film. He probably only has 4 or 5 of those different 1 and 2 steps that he uses. People are going to figure it out. And unless he totally, adjusts every year, it's going to be tough to maintain this level of dominance more than 1 year as a receiver.
Ultimate fantasy. Would you rather have Devontae Adams or Cooper Kupp on the Bears?
On the Bears, Devontae's young still, right? 26
Well,
or
let me look it up.
Maybe. Might be 26 or 27. And Kupp's got to be like 25 or 4, right? He's young.
Here we go. Devontae Adams is 29.
Yeah.
And Cooper Kupp
29.
Cooper Kupp is, bring it to me, 28. So same, they're basically.
Oh. Well, here's the thing, too. Like the longevity, I mean, it used to be 30 for a running back, and that's it, like max 30, and then it was like known that there was just that fall off. And with receivers, it wasn't long after that. In terms of the best, most players it's 2 or 3 years, but for the best, 30 was like that number. It's not quite the same, I mean, with TB12 and all this stuff with the cryotherapy and the taking care of yourself better all year. People like LeBron investing whatever 1 million in their body and recovery. I mean, that's on the super high end, but you can buy a sauna now and have like a full-time masseuse and even get
Right.
like one
That's
of
true.
those oxygen chambers. And so people are aware now more about they can get their blood and figure out what food is working, and they're trying to get them off. That's the one thing I heard today. The NFL is going to consider THC and cannabinoids to try and I don't know if it's like a test study or whatever, or if it's just bullshit they're trying to pitch, to seem like they're progressive, exactly. But yeah, to stop the uses of so much opioids for the pain, through
Right.
injury. So we'll see with that. And the NFL is a good pilot for some of that stuff. So who knows if they come up with it first, maybe some other places. They already stopped testing, didn't they?
I don't know.
I think they stopped testing, but this would make it so the insurance would pay for like the medicines that would help that are not
Right.
opiate based,
So, one thing on the Rams, though, Sean McVay's coaching. You watched the game, right?
Oh, yeah.
Sean McVay's coaching decisions in this game were mind-boggling.
He had an off game.
That's what I'm worried about the Super Bowl, though. It's
Well,
like if he makes those same decisions, it's like
he already won the one, right? With Goff and what's his name, Gurley.
he didn't win.
They lost that game. You're right.
Yeah, that's the Patriots. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So
it was-
why did
yeah,
they
it
pay?
was-
Why did they pay everybody?
They're gone for it this year, dude.
They
And
paid
it was
Gurley
worth.
so much. Remember that? And they paid Goff so much, and they both were just like, "Whoops." McVay,
Well,
they
you
paid.
never pay a running back.
No, and Gurley, but he just got hurt. Right? He was his knee or something was never right.
Right. So that Super Bowl, he wasn't right, and they
Yeah.
never had a shot that Super
Yeah,
Bowl.
you're right. I thought they won it, but yeah, I mean his play calling. What was that one play that was so suspect? There was something just bizarre. Same as the
He
Chiefs. not going-
challenged.
Yeah,
he
the
cha-
challenge
in this game.
the
He
challenge.
challenged twice, where it was like, "What are you
The challenge
doing?"
late. That late challenge was like what? And who was telling? Nobody had to tell him that. What's his name? That fullback fumbled. Nobody,
Right.
because I don't think anybody that I heard on the broadcast was saying it looks at all like a fumble. So
Yeah, and I don't know. He had an off game, and if he
Yeah.
does that in the Super Bowl, he's going to lose. But San Fran had their
maybe,
chances.
but the Bengals aren't like they're kids. It's
Right.
it's Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Joe Mixon, who's got a sketchy past, but on the field, when he's healthy,
Yeah.
he's good. Tyler Boyd, who hasn't shown up all year, watch him go off in the Super Bowl because he's good on paper.
Right.
And I just don't know their defense that well, but they're playing. Their line is solid, and they might just suck though because they're so young. Super Bowl.
I'm done doubting the Bengals.
Yeah, that's what you said, man.
I'm done doubting them.
I like that.
When you look at their line sucks. When you look at the DVOA, they play like some of the worst defenses in the regular season. So
Yeah.
I thought all the statistics add up, and they have a young quarterback and an unproven.
And the Jamar Chase connection's cool and everything, but yeah, that's like not enough to win playoff games. You think just one good connection.
But they do. They won, and you know what? I'm all in. I was a little disappointed at first, but now I'm all in. I'm excited to watch this Super Bowl. One thing before we get to the line here in the Super Bowl, San Fran. Look, they had their chances, and one thing sticks out to me is when they got 2nd and 2, and then got stuffed 3rd and 2, and then they looked like they were going to go for it on 4th and 2, and then they punted, and it was like that was it. That was the chance right there too. But they don't trust Jimmy G.
No,
and
they
that
don't.
Gets back to the point of I don't know what San Fran does from here.
Well,
We
they've
can
got
get a
Trey
little bit.
Lance.
I think he's not good at all. I watched him when he started against Seattle early in the year, and
I think he's like
he had
Jordan
a
Love. They're both
terrible
gonna.
game.
They're not going to be that good right away. At least some of those guys need 3 or 4 years, and then they all of a sudden can be okay. But that's not what people want anymore. If they're paying good money, you're a first or second rounder. You've got like 1 year to sort of watch, if that.
Mhm.
If you're a top 5 pick, you're playing probably, except Jordan
So
Love.
what I have is Jimmy G goes to Pittsburgh. I like that for
Jimmy
him.
G to Pittsburgh.
And then I think now that Tom Brady has officially retired today,
Yeah,
a great story because, when Adam Schefter broke the retirement and then
dude,
Tom Brady said,
he
what the
deflated the whole thing.
Speaking of that, Tom Brady, you know why Tom was like, no, I haven't decided yet? It's because he hates Adam Schefter because Adam Schefter broke Deflategate.
Oh, I hate Adam Schefter too. I hate him. He's like 5'2", and no offense to any people who are shorter, but he's just so smug,
Yeah.
and he just doesn't care like about any of this stuff. Like, when it comes to this, I know the bosses of ESPN and whatever other sports entities care about who's first. But like it all comes out within 50 seconds after the first one. So it's like for this one, which is going to be so sensitive and so important, let the family and the player do
Right.
it on his own accord.
Right.
Like you're already cemented as the guy. It's like, dude, and it's like, who cares? It's like, it's fun to watch that, but in those cases when a little formality is maybe due, I think it's a dick move what he did. That's all.
Yeah.
It's not like talking about a trade,
Right. I know. And yeah, he also tore his ACL doing the gritty in a Vikings game, by the way, earlier this year. The dance, the dance that Justin Jefferson does.
Yeah, man. I
So
mean,
that was that little silver lining there.
he got into that thing with Aaron Rodgers. That was kind of funny. Aaron Rodgers called him. And I lost all respect for Aaron Rodgers when he did that I own you thing. It just like my stomach dropped. I'm like, what? Like that was just like way too far, he was always like this quiet guy, like who was like always beating us. It was like Favre was a funny guy who was always beating us. And then we had a quiet guy who was beating us, which was like almost worse, But like you could never hate him because like his State Farm commercials were totally
What, Aaron
innocuous.
No, I've hated Aaron Rodgers for a long time.
Well, I didn't see through the curtain until when he went on McAfee's show so many times, and I'm like, oh, this guy is the most pompous douchebag ever. It's like he just read his first freshman philosophy book last year, and all of a sudden he's Friedrich Nietzsche out there talking about like. And it's like it's a joke, man. He's got this hair. Look, dude, he's 38 years old. I've got a funny picture on my Facebook. I'm 36. I'll be 37 in August, and he's 38. He looks like he's 65 years old in these pictures. It looks like a grizzled old man who's lost in the mountains, who's helping a boy save his dog. He's got like this do-rag on. He's got a helmet. His hair's peeking out. It's all wispy. Dude.
Right. I tell you what, if you hate him now, wait till he's on San Fran next year.
You think he's going to San Fran? I was going to say maybe Denver.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm thinking maybe Denver.
This is my conspiracy theory. I thought that Tom Brady was telling the truth and hadn't decided yet and was waiting until San Fran what they would do. I thought he was going to wait and say, oh, San Fran lost. They're going to get rid of Jimmy G. And then Tom Brady, whose parents live in the Bay Area, was going to say, I want to go to San Fran and play
he wants
one
to
more
finish
year.
up there.
Then solidify
with
his
Deebo
legend.
Samuel,
Solidify his legend by winning 3 Super Bowls
George
with 3
Kittle.
different teams.
Rob Gronkowski 2.0.
Let's talk about Kittle a little bit because here's another thing in that San Fran game.
Yeah.
Early on, Jimmy G overthrows Kittle up the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Kittle up the middle. And From then on, you never saw that play again, and the Rams are working with Weddle in the middle, who hasn't played football until the playoffs. Why wouldn't you attack that play over and over and over again?
I don't know about their coaching staff has always been sort of suspect to me. It's like they've always had such good pieces that it's like first off not playing Ayuk for like 6 or 7 games at all. Like what was going on? Like because he's being pouty in practice or something. Like what's going on with Ayuk? Because obviously he's been good. Because as soon as they played him, he's been good. As soon as they gave him the ball. So it's like it just seems weird, the whole thing up there, man. Ever since the Shanahans and all that, the dad, and now it's all just been weird.
That's another team that wants to win how they want to win, instead of just Weddle is on the field. We should probably attack Weddle.
Yeah, it's like some teams don't want to play the cards that are dealt,
right?
Yeah, and like. I don't know, maybe if the Browns are like that and they've never had a good game plan. So to just continue to execute a shit game plan consistently is going to give you shit results. It's like they've never even like stumbled into a good game plan. They're so bad, They've got Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt who could like run through brick walls the whole game over and over, both of them. It's like they could still not – they have Jarvis Landry. The guy I had on my fantasy team, I got him on waivers. I'm all excited. The guy couldn't catch 70 yards if there was no defense. It's like, what's going on?
Hey, Paul, it sounds like you're secretly a Browns fan.
No.
This is like the 5th time in the cast you brought up the Browns.
I just had a lot of Jarvis stock this year. And the fact that they're just such a prototype of a shit team, It's like you can compare them to like all other teams just for having good players and being bad. And it's like, is it the coaches? Is it the culture? Is it the town? Because some teams just can't win. The 49ers had Kaepernick, but I think it was because they had a guy who the league hadn't seen yet kind of deal. Like, if you can get a Mahomes who's got enough up here to learn the playbook in the first couple of years, it's like the league hasn't adjusted yet. So you've got like a little bit of a buffer to sneak in to some of those games where there's not much of a game plan against you yet. It's just a couple of weeks of film or whatever, So like Kaepernick, like people couldn't really figure him out. He had a weird way of throwing though. I remember that he was like way out here and he had those long arms and he would just do some weird stuff and he would take off and surprise people. So you can do that, but that's not a sustainable, game plan. The same with the Chiefs. Everyone's talking dynasty and all this stuff, and it's like, well, maybe because Kelsey's unstoppable. Tyreek Hill's super lightning fast, but all that stuff has a shelf life. And now it's like, okay, are the pieces still there? Same as the Buccaneers. Oh, they got everybody. It's gonna, and it doesn't matter what's on paper. Same as draft picks. It's like you got to see how it plays out.
Well, you love the Browns. Okay, it's established. Because if you do like the Browns, dude, I there's a old crow is a Cleveland Browns
Patriots closet fan because Bill and Tom, I'm like, how do you guys hate just like winners,
Right.
And then the whole Deflategate and stuff. I'm like, I don't know. It doesn't help. Like if any of you have ever thrown a football, it doesn't help to have it deflated a little bit. So
You know who that deflated football would have worked for? The Tart guy on San Fran when he dropped that wide open interception.
Oh my God.
That was another play.
That was the game. That was the game. That was one of those plays where it's like a game killer.
Yeah.
You might not want to say
I knew they were going to lose right after that.
Yeah, like that's a one that like the analysts will say, the coach might not say it because it's like, oh, we should never have it on one play. But that's like the same equivalent of missing a field goal because that would have been a walk-off.
Right. I have one more thing to say about this game that I hope they correct in the Super Bowl. How many times were the Rams at 0 on the play clock? You ever going to call it delay a game or are they just going to let them hike it? Why can't
the refs too have been suspect the whole playoffs?
Why can't that be a buzzer in the ref's pocket? Oh, it's 0. Delay a game.
Yeah, or if it's like, the elementary school basketball where the guy who's running the clock, when it hits 0, he goes, man, it's like you take it out of the ref's hands. It's like you don't it's one less thing to worry about. Like certain things in this world will and should be automated, and that's one of them. Eliminate clock stuff. Let them worry
I
about the
completely
humans.
agree.
Yeah,
There was 4 different delay of games that I could
yeah.
not believe were knocked
That could
off.
all be automated. All of that, like instant. It's like it's already all digitized. Just put a little alarm on it. Set someone's iPhone clock to 30 seconds.
I don't understand, and it's going to
Yeah.
be even harder in the Super Bowl because the Rams stadium that they're playing in does that thing where they don't allow any sort of silence throughout the entire game. It's like a NBA game. I don't know if you heard that they were
They're
playing.
just piping stuff in all the time.
Right. And I was like, I could hear it on the broadcast. I'm like, what is this?
It's like an Abercrombie and Fitch store. They're just
right. I'm like, what? Can't they just let the game play?
No. Listen, can you imagine how commercialized that entire stadium must be? How just gross.
All right, let's get to the line here. Who you got? Because I got Rams minus 4.5 right now.
Rams 4.5. I like that. I was thinking that same kind of deal, honestly. I didn't mean to agree with you. I like to change my mind a lot the morning of, depending on like how I'll look at every player at their health. I'm like, how are they going to match up? How are they probably feeling? Is anyone coming off? Like Elijah Mitchell, I'm like, man, if he could just get right. He looked so good. And I'm like, him and Deebo Samuel, they're going to be unstoppable, But it's like it didn't work out always that way. So, in this case, you're looking at that Rams offense being solid. You're looking at that Bengals offense being equally solid.
Well, yeah, but the line is a problem.
4.5.
I love the Rams minus 4.5. By the way,
I would have said 3.5 would have been a better line. Because Bengals, I don't know, man.
Again, this is something I'm doing on the cast now. Whatever I think is the complete wrong answer. So you should probably bet the Bengals.
So fade you.
Yeah, exactly.
Fade
because
Steve.
Again, I said I'm done doubting the Bengals, but it's like I could see the Bengals winning, but I could also see the Rams just going in.
Can you see the Bengals offense holding up to that defense on the Rams in a Super Bowl?
Aaron Donald might win. Here's a prop bet. Aaron Donald MVP of the game.
I'm saying that, man. Like, those guys know how to show up. Von Miller knows how to show up. Jalen Ramsey's already big time. I don't see them freezing as much as I see the Bengals guys freezing. Now, I could also picture in my head right now a game where the Bengals are just doing what they want and the Rams can't really get stuff together. Odell Beckham drops a pass, drops the first down, like late in the first quarter, and just like things just aren't clicking. Cam Akers snaps his ankle in the first play. Stafford
fumbles it 5 times.
Stafford throws 2 picks, in the first half or something like that. You could see that happening too. You can see it's like everyone's like, oh, Stafford's back on his shit again, his bullshit again.
Yeah,
you can see that happening too.
Or he throws up a powder puff ball for an interception. Except this
he
time
probably will. So
it.
it's like it's up to McVay and it's up to that defense to show up. And it's up to Odell to prove he's a big boy. It's more than just one catch in New York. Right. It's up to Kupp to not shy away this game. And, he's been locked out like maybe only once or twice this season.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not the game to make it like a third time of being, caught without a few passes. So he's got to show up and then it's just.
I just realized a lot of LSU guys in this game. Joe Burrow, we got Chase, and we got Beckham.
Yes, and
probably a few guys on defense that I don't know about.
Exactly, yeah. But what the heck was? Yeah, but still, it's like it's just one of those games where there's so many narratives you could see playing out because Stafford's got so much baggage behind him, and Beckham's got some baggage now coming up because it's like, what's he done, lately? And Kupp is like too good to be true kind of deal. So people want to see him fail as much as they don't. Like, he's a great story. Why would you want to? But whenever you have success, you're going to have haters. And it's like that defense is stacked. I mean, it's like Jalen Ramsey was unguardable. I can't believe the Jaguars let him go. It's like, what? Well, what? Okay. I guess,
Yeah, he just wanted to get out of there.
Yeah, I know.
All right,
It
so
was
I'm
him.
choosing the Rams minus 4.5. So bet the Bengals. All right, scoring over under 48.5 on the over under.
48.5. I'm going to
I kind of
go
like
under.
you like under. I kind of like over on
Got
this
the
one.
over. Oh, it's my battery. That's what that noise was. I got the under on that. I've been going
Just put that
unders.
anywhere.
I've been going unders all playoff, and it's been hitting.
Well, the public always likes over, so it's always probably a good thing to do under.
Well,
But
Super
for
Bowl
that 48
games
and a
tend to be
half,
boring, though, don't they? So that's 24.25 points a team, right? So you need.
I could see it. I could see it being a shootout.
I could see that coming in the first quarter, but I could also see it. I could also see it being like a pretty good defensive battle where they're running a lot. It's like a boxing match. It's just like a first half of jabs, and maybe they get 10 points a pop, and it goes in the quarter like, some goofy score like 12-10 or something like that, and then maybe there's like a late run in the third quarter with a couple scores. Yeah, it's low for a reason, though. Vegas is never wrong,
Mm-hmm.
So I could see that half not hitting. I could see it being at the under by half.
All right, so I like the over, so choose the under. Here's some prop bets for you. Jamar Chase touchdown plus 110. Kind of like that.
Yeah, I like that. I
Cooper
like that one.
Kupp to score a touchdown, minus 188. So, I mean,
No.
Cooper Kupp scoring a touchdown is a guarantee.
Anytime touchdown scorers, I don't like a lot unless it's like Devontae Adams. I actually had a great parlay that would have hit if Tyreek had scored. I had everything for a single game parlay for that Chiefs game. It was
Tyreek scored first play, not first play, but first drive.
Then he didn't get his yardage.
Okay.
Yeah, because
I had him in a FanDuel lineup.
It was something with Tyreek that didn't hit because I had Kelsey anytime touchdown scorer, and I had all the everything, and it was like a plus 14,000 single game parlay because I had 11 things all in there, and something with Tyreek didn't hit.
Oh, that sucks.
Right,
Odell Beckham plus 137 for a touchdown.
I like that. That one's good. I would do that one by itself.
Joe Burrow passing yards 275.5 over under.
I've got to say that's right exactly where he's going to get.
Matthew Stafford, the exact same number, by the way.
Stafford will go over.
Okay.
Stafford will go over.
What are some other fun ones here? Let me look up all Super Bowl prop bets real quick.
Yeah, there's got to be some good ones. What do you look at, DraftKings or?
I'm looking just at like articles right now, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because different ones have different ones. DraftKings will have some props that FanDuel's won't, and vice versa, and stuff like that. There's always the good old heads or tails.
Always solid, or the national anthem. I'm trying to find the national anthem here.
What's that one usually? Length?
Yeah.
Is that yeah?
And it's always under. It's always under. I can't find the MVPs, but you know what would be a good one, and I know they'll have good odds. Is Aaron Donald might win the MVP of this game? That'd
be a good one. Also, doing it'd be good to do number of sacks because I think Donald. I mean, because how many sacks did Joe? I mean, last year that was the problem, right? Anytime you look,
Tennessee had 9 sacks.
9, and so that's the and now with Aaron Donald and Von Miller, I would say if you want to put some crazy money, I'd say plus 5, like 5 sacks. I'd call 5 sacks. That'd be a good bet.
I think so too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Paul, I think this was a solid cast. What we're gonna go out on here is a song that you sent me from yourself.
Oh man, don't even do it, dude.
Oh, we're doing Magic Beans. We're gonna play the full. We're gonna play the full music video here.
No, man, don't
play us out.
Oh,
I like the song. Do you go by P Man? You go by P Man?
Well, that's a nickname that's stuck, and because I've gone through 4 drummers, I was hoping I'd find the right match, and then we come up with a new name together and all that jazz. Like, it's just, it's tough to find someone, and then to have the right vision and to want to do things together on the right path of also wanting to be in the same room with each other. And then you got to look like, can I stand this person for a while? So I just stuck with that because I couldn't come up with anything else. But yeah, for now.
All right, so that's what we're gonna go out on.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining me today. Let's do this again.
Yeah, man, please. I love bullshit. As you could tell, man, I tried my best to restrain myself, but I love this kind of shit. I could talk for days.
No problem. We'll schedule something out here.
Yeah.
And then we'll bring you on with my other two buddies, Charlie and Monty, who know a lot about football as well.
You probably got a Super Bowl reaction, so I'll watch that.
Yeah. We'll see if we can work you in on that one. All right, let's go out to your song here. It's very good. Check them out on YouTube. P-Man, Magic Beans.
Sell your soul